Hi, everybody. It's Michelle Hill, your legacy builder at Winning Proof, and I am here with a surprising and intriguing guest today, Kamal Sabuni, and I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. And
Yes.
I am so excited because he is in Africa. He is the founder of Professional Darts Africa. And I'm going to read, before I say hello, I am going to read his bio and then we'll dive right into the questions. In over a year since its inception in 2022, the Professional Darts Africa, which is referred to as PDA, founded by visionary Kamal Sabuni, has become a beacon of hope and a symbol of sporting innovation in Africa. PDA has also hosted 11 of its 18 series in Uganda and Tanzania, showcasing its commitment and ability to execute PDA. PDA isn't merely a sporting organization. It's a transformative movement, which makes it different. So, Kamal, I am so thrilled to have you today as my guest. And for everybody listening, I am working with computer problems lately. And so if you see my eyes going all over the place and flipping from one thing to another, you'll know why. So, Kamal, welcome.
Yes.
It's a pleasure to have you on Winning Proof Unscripted.
Happy to be here, Michelle. Thank you for the opportunity to have a chat with you. I know we should have been here 2 days ago, but now we're here. And I don't know if it is windy or still snowing at your end, but here it is bright and sunny and beautiful.
Well, a lot of people would be jealous about that bright and sunny thing. It hasn't been, it's been low 20s, mid 20s, 40s here. So not so bad. We don't get snow where I am in North Carolina, but people in the Northeast would be very envious of the bright and sunny weather that you're experiencing.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
So,
I'm happy. Tell me.
yes, and let's get right into the questions. How did you originally become interested in darts and why is it so exciting? Because I think people think, like I told you before we went on camera, all I know about darts is playing them as a child and hanging a board up. And now I saw you on LinkedIn and I thought, is this a thing? And it definitely is a thing. So how did you originally become interested and why it is professional darts so exciting?
Okay. Originally, I used to, when I was younger, probably about between 5 and 10, I watched a lot of darts when I was growing up in Kenya. My family, our family migrated to Kenya during the wars in Uganda, and we got to watch the sport of that. So it was fascinating for me to see guys aiming a pointed object onto the wall with numbers, and everybody would get excited about it. And it kept, running in my mind. Being a sports person myself, having played tennis and soccer at a, at an early age and to a very good level, I went into sports management, and it was always in the back of my head to see what that can bring to the table. And throughout my journey, I realized that the sport needed uh, a, a renewed blood, a renewed growth, and it has an opportunity to get guys involved because you can have the sport in your bedroom, in your house, in a bar, in wherever, in a hospital, etc. So that can be replicated everywhere and change people's lives.
Okay, that makes sense. And were darts and dartboards readily available everywhere you went? So it wasn't a shortage of like, where do we have to makeshift this, or were they sold in stores and sporting goods stores?
Yes, yes, that's have been sold in sports and I mean in sports stores. Of course, the decline of the sport was predominantly because people didn't understand the commercial side of it. And as we grow into an awakening, we can be able to find the commercial side of it very interesting. So now there's a lot of darts products being shipped in different countries. But you must know the biggest number of people playing darts were predominantly people in the forces, maybe in the Air Force or the police force, or because they have those communal gatherings in their centers. So now that is spilling out to the youth, etc. As we gain ground.
Wow, wow. Okay. And this is an education for me. If everybody
Yes.
watching thinks that I know anything about darts, they are sadly mistaken. So I am learning along with everybody else. And to me, it's very fascinating. So
Yeah.
fast forward, what made you want to compete professionally in the dart profession? Dart
Okay.
sport?
Competing professionally to me is to compete professionally as a sports and entertainment business. That's to me professionally, because that presents an opportunity where people are not able to play soccer at a high level. People are not able to play American football at a high level. People are not able to play tennis at a high level, but they can play that from the age of 10 to 75 and beyond at whatever level, as long as they are good. So for me, professionally, it's the sports and entertainment business. As a darts player, of course, I'm not that bad, but I have seen a lot of talent here that could probably beat the best in the world. So why not get them onto a platform where they can exercise their abilities and hopefully participate at the World Championships, where the winner goes home with £500,000. Can you believe that?
That's incredible. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had no idea that it was such a large sport, because when people think of sports, they think of football, soccer, and the basketballs, things like that. So I'm really, are more and more people signing up, and I'll say the word signing up, are more and more people interested in competing professionally in darts?
I'll tell you a story. In August of last year, we hosted the first series of part of the 18 series. We hosted the first series, and in that series, someone came up to me and said, "Kamal, there's a guy who has exhibited true talent, and he just learned how to play in 4 months." So I said, well, let's give him a scholarship and he enters the tournament. And over the weekend, he beat some of the best and got to second place twice. At the end of that weekend, he had over 30 signups at his local club. So I believe such stories can be replicated once someone can be able to perform and do very well.
Wow, that is incredible. Yeah, exactly. And I have my questions here, and I call it unscripted, but I do have questions.
Okay.
Does a professional dart player, are
Yes.
there certain skills that they need in order to excel? Can just anybody do it, or can you be trained to do it, as you described, or the natural ability? What do you need to really excel at the sport?
Number one, first of all, everybody has a natural ability to shoot at something.
Okay.
If you pick up a racket, you can shoot. If you pick up a sling, you can shoot.
You might be
So-
talking to the exception here. But go ahead.
Okay, so so the next step is how you might have a natural ability to target something and be able to be good at it. But in order to excel at it, you have to really work hard and practice and have the right hand motions, just the way someone does these motions in tennis or table tennis or whatever it is. That is the same thing. You need to be able to work at it. So in the case of the gentleman who I mentioned earlier, he I think he spent a lot of time in the 4 months running up to that, working on his craft, working on his skill. And I can tell you, some of the top players say that, look, this guy, if we give him enough time and a lot of tournaments, he's going to beat the best.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Yeah. And that answers, that answers the question thoroughly, because there are always special skills needed to
Yes.
do a sport. I was horrible at sports, so I don't know about what you were saying about everybody.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So,
I hope the people around you have some kind of sport they are playing.
yes, absolutely, yes.
And then that's okay. Then that's okay.
So before we did this, we planned for this podcast, and I told Kamal that I said, let me say Professional Darts Africa several times, because PDA in the United States means public display of affections. If you said, oh yeah, PDA, oh yeah, everybody thinks of it as that. So it's Professional Darts Africa. But tell me about PDA and what inspired you to start it as a movement.
I must give recognition to an organization run by someone called Matthew Porter. I think he's and the chairman, Barry Han, of Professional Darts Corporation. It is through watching what they do that we envision that we should be able to do something that can build the sport in Africa, so that we can provide a platform for the players, the diamonds in the rough, that can now go on to participate in the bigger events under the PDC, etc. So for me, on one side, it is a social transformation movement, because I'll tell you a story. We had one of the players who was not able to make it to the series, and he lived about an hour and a half away. So I encouraged him in Uganda. I encouraged him in the northern part of Uganda and asked him to find his way, and would take care of his accommodation and everything. This guy arrived. He was tired. He missed doing well in the 5th series. But on Sunday, on the 6th series, he beat 2 of the best of East Africa, the current East African champion and the former East African champion, on his way to the final. That alone made him a folk hero in his village. So he took home a check. At that point, the check was about $150. Yeah. And that in itself did quite a bit. So imagine for a second, we are able to give a second place participant $5,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would do amazing. And he's probably able to earn $5,000 every month or twice a month, because he's that good. Yeah.
That's incredible. And how, I mean, I can see it's changing people's lives, and that's why you started it. So how is it influencing sports in general in Africa?
Um, what is definitely going to happen is everybody's waking up to the reality that, oh, I can take my child to the soccer academy, but I can also buy a dartboard and put it in the house, just in case my son is good enough at age 20 to play in the PDA. Yeah. So now it is a conversation where someone can say, while I take you to the soccer, let's enjoy and have fun. And then within a family of 20, at least one guy is able to excel and be part of this. So if you're going to watch the Super Bowl, before the Super Bowl, you can play that. And after the Super Bowl, you can play that. So there's going to be a seismic change in the sporting landscape in Africa.
Okay, that is so awesome. And I think that if given enough attention, which I know you're trying to do, is that I think a lot of these pro athletes, NFL and NBA will like, what? And maybe they've never heard of it, and maybe they want to explore further. So that would be awesome, because a sport is a sport is a sport,
Yes.
and it's competing.
Yes.
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 What have you learned about yourself through the experience of being a professional dart player, starting PDA, and the whole experience?
What I've learned is about myself is it is important to have the ability to stay focused, to be resilient, because it's tough getting into sports business if you don't have the right partners, the right resources, the right attitudes. You have to be able to build. The guy who built the NBA or the guy who built the NFL may have gone through a lot of hoops trying to get his business to where it is now. His generations after, it is where it is because of the changes and dynamics etc. So being resilient and staying focused, I have found that because of what I've gone through, if you have passion in something that you're doing, it's what takes you farther. Yeah, and I'm sure the rewards will come later on, of course, once I am united with the right partners, the right investments.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I think it's an evolving thing personally, because as you grow as a man, as a person, as a citizen of Africa, you are going to exact more of an influence on PDA. So who you become will largely affect what PDA becomes. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So what is PDA's greatest need right now in its really grassroots effort and grassroots level? What is the greatest need right now?
Well, the greatest need for the PDA is, of course, to find the right partnerships. By partnerships, it means uh, um, apart from the financial requirements, to be able to build an ecosystem that will nurture players from the grassroots and nurture an entertainment platform that will be viewed digitally and on television across continents, not just in Africa, because across the continents we have seen people from the UK being the biggest viewers of our channel on YouTube, which is still in the last century in terms of production, but of the partnerships that we need will take us to the current century in production and delivery of the entertainment value of the sport. So once we are able to find not just the financing, but the equipment and all this that can be spread in our ecosystem, then definitely we'll go very far. I would like to point out that a gentleman by the name of Jess Harding was gracious enough to fly down from the UK, watch the event, set up Windmill, which is one of the biggest equipment suppliers in the sport, who gave us sponsorship for the next series. So all these things are coming together, and there's going to be a very huge production coming up in the next couple of months.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So you say partnerships, but that includes sports companies, like sports companies that can supply the actual products,
Equipment.
or
Yeah.
the equipment. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was searching for that word. The equipment.
Yes.
You need possibly investors that want to invest in enlarging it and expanding the sport. You need
Yes.
just people who are more just interested and passionate. And if they come to one of the matches, are you
Yes.
pretty much saying they're going to catch the passion from seeing what
Yes.
happens at a professional darts match?
Definitely. Think of it this way. Long term, I like to see the PDA grow into something as powerful as the PGA in golf or the NBA, etc. And the opportunities there. The youth in Africa are about 75% of the population of Africa. So what does that mean? That means with Generation Z looking and their behavior of how they consume product right now, be it online or etc. There's a lot of work or a lot of commerce that can evolve out of this. So I'm optimistic about the future. Of course, all we need is the right investment, investor, and partners across the board.
Yeah, absolutely, yes, because you are not lacking for anybody who wants to be involved playing wise and competing. That's what it sounds like. There are plenty of people who want to compete. It's building that infrastructure with the right partnerships. And I hope somebody watching this will just be inquisitive enough to go on PDA's website, and I will include the website and all the social media links and everything in the show notes, so you can check it out further. But it's really exciting. So what my final question, and there's always a final question, but
yeah,
a final question is, what would you tell somebody if their interest has been piqued and they think, you know what? I've competed in every sport, but I haven't competed in darts. So what would you tell someone who wants to compete professionally in darts? How would you encourage them?
If you have access to be able to buy a board and some darts, do that. That's the first step. If you don't have access to a board and darts, go to your friend's house, local bar, office, and try it out. Learn how to count as a step. Yeah. Do an hour every day. It's therapeutic for a start. Yeah. And keep working on your craft day by day. If you are a pilot and you have the license to marshal a Boeing 777, you still need to study and work at it and work towards doing performing on a bigger vehicle. So just the same way, keep working on your craft, and at the age 70, at the age 80, you can beat the best.
That's incredible. Wow. I'm just so intrigued by it. Do you hope to really bring it to the US? Do you hope to garner some interest in, or do you already have interest in US sports, uh, you know, figures, or does it have a
Um,
lot of steam here?
of course, because we are still growing, I
Mhm.
am we know that the Professional Darts Corporation is the biggest darts organization in the world,
Mhm.
and they have had tours in the US. Some of the greatest players come from the UK.
Okay.
They have tours every year. Of course, we will build to a point where we can have our own tours in the US,
Okay.
or conversely have Americans come down to Africa to be a part of our events, and build the entertainment around it. That's definite. We are looking forward to a robust future within the sport. And let's say this, the NFL, the NBA have started investing in Africa. They see something, yeah?
Yes.
They see a lot of potential in Africa. So if you're if you have a future in business and sport and entertainment, it has a lot of growth in Africa. It's time you invested in the PDA or any other sport in Africa for us, for you and us to have a bright future.
Yes, absolutely. That was a good parting words. Anything else you want to share that people should know about Professional Darts Africa that I did not ask?
Okay. Um, the PDA is in a phase of growth, and of course, we are looking to expand from the East African part of Africa, where we have the core countries of Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Ethiopia, who have participated. Um, and we are in the process of building the infrastructure, of course, but importantly, we are looking for the opportunity to accelerate through the right partnerships and the right media organizations, etc., so that we can build the brand that should be a driver of the sport with all our partners that I haven't fully mentioned, but we are able to do a lot.
Okay, that's fabulous, and I hope that some people watching this will grab the vision and contact you and say they heard you talk on
Yeah.
Winning Proof Unscripted and they want to find out more. And you never know where something could go. And I know you are just working furiously to grow it, to expand the movement. It's not just a sport, it's a movement.
Yes, it is. Yes,
Yes,
it is.
yes. Well,
I am. I'm very happy. I'm very happy that you've really given me an opportunity to express myself, and hopefully we can be winning proof that our legacies are what we say they are.
absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
We're going to be legacy builders. We are legacy builders, and anybody can be a legacy builder. Absolutely. So thank you, Kamal, for, you know, being a guest today, for coming on and just sharing about profession PDA. I will never think of it the same as what we think of it as in the US. I'll always think Professional Darts Africa now. And so I'm really appreciative that you took your time. I know the
Yeah.
time difference is quite vast. What time is it there right now?
It's 12 minutes after 7 p.m.
Okay, so you're getting ready to wind down for the day, I'm guessing, and kind of breathe for a minute.
Yes, of course. I wanted to say something.
Yes.
It's okay. It's okay whenever someone shows a public display of affection. they will always think of professional darts Africa.
Yes. Now it has a dual meaning, everybody. PDA is not just PDA.
Yes.
So
Yes.
thank you, Kamal. And I just want to let everybody know I'm so appreciative that you're here. If you like this episode, or if you are intrigued by this episode, which I am sure you are, then like, subscribe, and share it with your friends, especially your sports friends, especially those competitors in your life, because we want to get the word out about Professional Darts Africa. And until next time, thank you for watching another episode of Winning Proof Unscripted.